because I've always been a fan of Steven Soderbergh's work, and what a cast to be a part of. And Lawrence Fishburne, I've known for the years throughout the business and never got a chance to work with him, so I was thrilled about that as well. Scott Burns was there all the time on set, constantly, tweaking it, and but it still had that kind of edge of your seat, kind of creepy, page-turning quality.
How did that feel where you're in a star-studded cast,
yeah.
but it's kind of external? Was that...
Well, it just feels like I was making my own little movie with Lawrence, because all of my scenes take place. We shot my part in Chicago, for Chicago and Atlanta. And it was great to come to the, premiere and see the whole movie and see how it was all pieced together. Nowadays they have a technology where you don't have to actually make it up the person's conversation, so like the sound people will actually, Lawrence can actually be on the other end of the lines while you're shooting your scene, so it makes it easier.
Any kind of a germaphobe?
I'm not a germaphobe, and I'm not one of those people that obsesses over things. I can't really see scary movies because I do have, it really kind of affects me unconsciously, but definitely when I was shooting the film and thinking about these circumstances, I was washing my hands a lot more.
Right.
Every time you hear a cough, it has a different meaning.
Exactly.
Every time you look at a doorknob, it has a different meaning,
Right.
A bowl of nuts.
Suddenly seeing all the dramatic potential.
Yeah. And, I have the hand sanitizer in the purse at all times. I definitely think that it affected me in that way. But other than that, what can you do? You can't stop living. Coming into it knowing that his body of work, there's so much respect there that I had for him, but he's just so down to earth and so cool, and he gives you the room to do what you're gonna do. And well, it was interesting because we shoot a scene one day, and then the next day he'd come in and he'd say the scene is cut, it's good, and I was like, what do you mean it's cut? and they knew what they were literally doing it almost simultaneously, so it was nice to get that feedback. Well, this one they used this camera, the red camera, this new digital camera, and I what I learned while we were filming it is that it actually requires less lighting to actually it looks better. I guess film cameras, you need to really set up the lighting, but with this, the less the better. That's what they discovered, and so the actual process of filming moves. It's quick. There's no longer any long hours waiting in the trailer.
Right.
So it was really quick, and that was really pleasant.
Gotcha. Did that take you off guard at all in terms of
in the beginning? I was like, why is
adjusting?
everything so quick, so ready, so fast? It was the first time I had worked with that kind of camera. And I just finished a movie with Forrest Whitaker and Anthony Mackie called Vipaka, which is a working title, so we'll see if that stays the title. And we shot that in New Orleans, and it's another psychological thriller, very different in that it deals with like people's relationships and the karma of keeping secrets and not telling the truth, and that was really exciting to work with those actors. I'm really excited to see that. Well, I think that it's very instinctual for me. Usually it's, is this a story that I want to tell? Is this a character that, has an arc? That is this something I haven't done before? Is this something that's going to challenge me?
Right.
Those are the criteria. For me, each character demands different tools, and so I let that speak to me, but you're always approaching it as if it is a starring role.
Right. I've recently heard some different actors speak, like Elijah Wood and these different people. And, it was funny because two kind of different thought process came up, where one person would only be interested in the script if they had a role that they felt was new or was challenging them in some way. Whereas the other would take a role that maybe isn't necessarily the most profound role, but fits into a larger picture that's very interesting.
And for me, it's the same way. I would do both.
You would do both.
I mean, you see, my part in this movie is, it's a piece of the puzzle, and so I was thrilled to be, a part of this cast and work with this director.
I'm sorry, she failed to respond.
Can I go talk to her?
Your wife is dead.
What are you talking about? What happened to her?
Could someone weaponize the bird flu? Someone doesn't have to. The birds are doing that.
In 3 months, it's 1 billion sick. That's where we're headed.
People will panic. The virus will be the least of our worries. It will tip over.
It's figuring us out faster than we're figuring it out.
Contagion, rated PG-13, in theaters and IMAX September 9th.